Ryusei was an ugly demon lord who lost the final battle to the busty hero and reincarnated to have a peaceful life. However, everything changes when the hero also reincarnates into the new world to continue the war, but he rizzes her up to finish the rivalry once and for all. The story begins with Ryusei, a certified loser who has lost all purpose in life and spends every day doing absolutely nothing. His peaceful routine of professionally wasting oxygen is interrupted when his younger sister tells him he has a visitor. Confused since nobody outside his family knows him, Ryusei is shocked when a beautiful girl barges into his room and calls him the Scarlet-Eyed Demon Lord. She reveals she has been searching for him, expecting him to remember her, but Ryusei has absolutely no idea who she is. She introduces herself as Hanori, the powerful woman who came to end him. Terrified, Ryusei immediately calls his mom to call the cops. A few moments later, Ryusei finally recalls that he's truly a demon lord from another world, and Hanori is the crazy hero who defeated him. He wonders if she's targeting him again because he decided to be a NEET, doing absolutely nothing but breathing. To explain a day in Ryusei's life as a bum, Ryusei spends his days doom-scrolling online, gaming until late at night, and occasionally watching movies or anime to spice things up. He never leaves the house because he's too self-conscious, and even his younger sister now treats him like trash. Although he's practically an undead, Ryusei has gotten so good at playing games to escape reality. Unfortunately, Hanori seems determined to disturb his peaceful lifestyle. She assures him she means no harm, but warns that her kindness doesn't apply to the Demon Lord. She reveals she sensed his mana and tracked it down, never expecting to find the legendary Demon Lord living as a complete shut-in. Determined to avoid the lunatic, Ryusei pretends he has no idea who Hanori is, which only makes her more furious. He insists she's just a crazy woman, causing her to pounce on him, but unfortunately, his sister catches them in a suspicious position, leaving both embarrassed. Ryusei eventually admits that he remembers his old rival, the loose girl hero. Hanori argues that her name is Meteor the hero, but Ryusei reminds her that the name is simply because back then, her clothing budget covered nothing but air. Hanori insists she had to expose her skin to absorb the spirit's power. She then accuses Ryusei of plotting evil, but he explains that he's only searching for someone. Hanori is briefly touched, until he reveals she isn't the person he was looking for. She then orders him to get a job or volunteer before he falls back into it. Hanori explains that he must atone for the sins of his past life, but Ryusei has no interest in anything besides breathing free oxygen. When she suggests he become evil again so she can defeat him, Ryusei rejects the idea, saying he just wants to wallow in self-pity. Hanori then reminds him that he was once an imperial mage who used forbidden magic to become immortal and seek revenge after his nation was destroyed. He created an army of undead and turned the continent into a nightmare, earning the title of the Scarlet-Eyed Demon Lord. However, Ryusei reveals he only did it to seek revenge for the princess whose soul he has been searching for, but found no traces of it in this world. Hanori laughs at him for being hopelessly clingy across 2 lifetimes before quickly apologizing for mocking him. Putting that aside, Hanori tells Ryusei to take responsibility since she was created solely to destroy him. Now that he's lost his purpose, she's lost hers too. Their bickering is interrupted when Ryusei's sister catches them in another questionable position, making Hanori wish the ground would swallow her. Later that evening, as Hanori prepares to leave, she reminds him to find a way to make amends. Although Ryusei never wants to see her again, he decides to find an honest job. Days later, his sister is shocked to learn that he became a teacher at an all-girls school. Ryusei claims he only did it to ease his family's worries, but she suspects Hanori is the real reason, and he can't exactly deny it. On his way to work, Ryusei thinks about Hanori and feels guilty that she's still trapped by their past. However, he's determined to live a peaceful life, without swords or magic. However, Ryusei didn't expect the universe to play a joke on him by making him Hanori's homeroom teacher. After his arrival, the students buzzed about the handsome new teacher, except for a student named Mako, who thinks Ryusei already looks exhausted, and he has a terrible taste in fashion. On the other hand, Hanori is ready to check out of this life because her nemesis is the last person she expected to be her teacher. She can't seem to understand why the girls are fawning over him, so she warns Mako to stay away from Ryusei because he's a demon in human clothing. After class, Hanori slammed Ryusei into the wall, demanding to know why he became her teacher, but Ryusei reminded her that she had asked him to find a job. She suspects that he plans to conquer the school, but Ryusei has no intention of doing something so tiring. Hanori is about to ask him something important, but leaves the moment the school bell rings. Later in the faculty room, Ryusei is already exhausted just thinking about Hanori. When Sakura asks why he's exhausted, He explains that dealing with the students has been overwhelming, but she reassures him that he'll get used to it since they're only being extra because he's new. During class, Hanori vows to make Ryusei regret joining her school and tries to intimidate him with her aura. However, she's shocked when he remains completely unaffected. Watching from the side, Mako concludes that Hanori is obviously interested in the new teacher. After class, the class president, Matsurika, checks on the exhausted Hanori. Mako feels it's because of the new teacher, but Hanori quickly denies it. Mako then asks Matsurika what she thinks about Ryusei, but Matsurika instantly checks out because she has daddy issues. Shortly after, Mako then accuses Hanori of staring at Ryusei with lewd intentions, causing her to nearly choke while desperately denying it. Later that day, she corners Ryusei again just to warn him to pretend he doesn't know her. Unfortunately, Sakura sees them and misunderstands the situation, but she promises to keep it a secret, leaving Hanori embarrassed. However, Mako and even Matsurika witness the whole thing. Back in class, Ryusei tries to keep his cool while dealing with the lunatic hero on his heels. He tries to naturally ask her a question, but Hanori is so engrossed staring at him that she doesn't respond. After class, he drags her to their usual spot to scold her for ignoring him. Hanori apologizes as she explains that she only knows how to be hostile towards evil. Ryusei realizes she's right because this school can't exactly help a cocky hero grow. When Hanori challenges him to a fight, Ryusei realizes she's just pent up after a century of missing the battlefield, so he suggests a study competition. However, Hanori instantly pulls a Houdini when she hears this. Shortly afterwards, Ryuz notices Matsurika glaring at him from a corner, making him wonder how he offended her. When Mako arrives, he asks for help, but she reassures him that Matsurika is like that with all men. Ryusei is instantly relieved to hear this and waves at her, but Matsurika glares at him like an angry cat. Just then, Hanori pops out and turns it into a competition to see who's more likable. Later, Ryusei tries to approach a few animals to test his likability, but every single one of them flees because of his dark aura. However, his mood instantly lights up when Mako cheerfully greets him. On the other hand, Hanori is worried that her best friend has been getting too close to Ryusei, but Mako explains that it's because Ryusei is quite likable. She angrily warns her to stay away from him, but Mako figures it must be because she's jealous. However, Hanori denies this, but Matsurika agrees with Mako's analysis. During lunch break, Hanori runs into Ryusei at the cafeteria and has no choice but to sit with him because all the seats have been taken. As usual, she tries to turn lunch into an eating competition, but Ryusei refuses. After lunch, Sakura can't stop thinking about Ryusei and Hanori because she has a weird thing for that kind of forbidden love story. Seeing Ryusei exhausted, she assumes he's stressed by the romance brewing between them. She advises him to talk about it, secretly hoping he chooses her. After school, Ryusei meets Hanori to ask if she sensed his mana at school, but she says she didn't. He explains that he only wanted to ensure his dark mana wasn't affecting the students, since people once believed it could corrupt living beings. Hanori dismisses it as a superstition, but Ryusei still worries her powers could cause trouble in this magicless world, so he advises her not to use her abilities carelessly, as something dangerous could track her mana. Days later, two suspicious transfer students, Mana and Minto, appear at school, but no one knows if they're allies or foes. After Mana and Minto are introduced to the class, their teacher, Sakura, asks Ryusei to give them a tour of the school. She playfully encourages the girls to make as many unreasonable requests of him as they like, since he is the newest teacher, prompting Ryusei to protest. Watching from afar, Matsurika and Mako become even more convinced that Ryusei is a scumbag building a harem. Speaking about Mana, she's an easygoing girl, liked by many because of her gentle nature, but she can be too delusional at times and clumsy. Meanwhile, Minto is a shorty with an equally short temper who easily speaks her mind without hesitation. During the tour, Mana and Minto tell Ryusei that they have been friends for a while and decided to transfer to the same school together. However, Ryusei finds their arrival rather suspicious, but he thinks he might just be overthinking. As the tour continues, Ryusei praises the school, but Minto dismisses the all-girls school as a breeding ground for drama. After showing them the campus, Ryusei and the girls run into Hanori, pretending to be minding her business. Ryusei suspects she also has reservations about the new transfers. Suddenly, Mana stops and claims she can smell a magical scent, revealing that she possesses a mysterious ability to sense hidden sweetness, such as secrets between people. But her cryptic remark leaves Ryusei and Hanori unsettled, so later, they meet in an abandoned classroom to discuss it. Hanori fears Mana has uncovered their true identities, while Ryusei suspects she sensed Hanari's deflection spell in the cafeteria. However, Hanari believes their identities were exposed because the hero and Demonlord's mana resonated when they were near each other. To uncover the truth, Ryusei and Hanari decide to lure Mana and Minto to the abandoned classroom. Ryusei hides inside a storage cabinet, but Hanari unexpectedly squeezes in, only to realize she desperately needs the bathroom. Ryusei panics and begs her not to relieve herself there, making Hanari joke that a hero's golden shower might be fatal to a Demonlord. But Ryusei admits he simply wants to protect her dignity, causing Hanari to rush out, only to find Mana and Minto waiting outside. After the embarrassing moment, Hanari questions the suspicious transfers about their identity. Unexpectedly, Mana dramatically declares they are the rom-com police, and their mission is to force Ryusei and Hanari to break up. Hanari immediately denies they are a couple, while the indifferent Minto complains that she only wants Mana and Hanari to share some of their big oranges because she's flat-chested. The following morning, Minto is dragged to the school gate to exchange morning greetings, which she finds annoying. She's even more irritated when Hanari arrives and instantly becomes the center of attention. Ryusei tells her that Hanari is quite popular, and everyone usually goes to her to fix their problems. This convinces Minto that Hanari must be some kind of hero from a novel. Later on, Ryusei runs into Hanari delivering some boxes and offers to help her. On the way, he asks her what it was like when she was a hero. Hanari is so excited for this question, as she begins to narrate how she got dragged into a battle by a princess, trying to save her Prince Charming from a dark god. During the battle, Hanari did everything to help the princess awaken as a hero and even defeated the dark forces targeting her, after which she broke the spell affecting the prince. Unfortunately, at the last moment, the prince took a blade for the princess and died. Next, Hanari narrates how she got dragged into another battle between a religious order and an evil cult trying to revive an evil dragon. During this battle, Hanari defeated 6 evil dragons and 12 divine generals, earning the title of savior. She was about to drag the cult down when it was discovered that the founder of the religious order was actually the one behind the evil cult. The saint who hired Hanari for the mission loved the founder like a father, so she fell into his trap, and he tried to use her body to revive the evil dragon. Hanari is devastated as she realizes that her life as a hero might have been all a fluke because, thinking back now, nothing ever worked out as she expected. This convinces her that she was nothing more than a side character helping the main characters shine. To comfort Hanari, Ryusei tells her to think back to the fun parts of her journey as a hero. Thinking back to her former life, Hanari can only remember that fighting Ryusei when he was the Demonlord was the only fun thing she ever did, leaving her embarrassed. Even so, Hanari laments that her life as a hero was truly pathetic because everyone was just using her. Ryusei then pats Hanari to comfort her as he lets her know that she was an incredible hero in her time. Shortly afterwards, Ryusei asks Hanari if there are people she misses from her past life, and Hanari begins to name a long list of people she encountered during her journey, most of them everyday ordinary folks. Ryusei also asks her several questions about being a hero and her regrets. According to Hanari, she regretted not being able to save everyone, and she also reveals that the people closest to her were those who always believed in her. A few hours after their emotional moment, Hanari barges into the classroom crying and complains to Ryusei that she was kicked out of the hero's party. She then explains that she ran into Mana, Minto, Matsurika, and Mako planning to go ghost hunting after school. Apparently, a park went viral online for being haunted by ghosts, so the girls wanted to check it out. Hanari offered to go with them, but they told her that it was a 4-man party. Ryusei says he has also heard about the haunted park, while Hanari suspects it might be a monster connected to their previous world. However, she wonders why they haven't heard anything about strange monsters on the news if it's truly something from their world. After briefly considering it for a moment, Hanari figures there may be some kind of secret organization controlling the news. She then suggests they also check out the park themselves, but Ryusei would rather not, since he's afraid of ghosts. Later that evening, Mako and the girls excitedly head to the park, eager to discover what kind of monster awaits them. Matsurika wishes Hanari had joined them, but Mako confidently says Hanari and Ryusei are already on their way, prompting the others to suspect she's a rom-com matchmaker. As the park grows eerier, the frightened girls cling to one another, turning a horror scenario into an accidental Yuri moment. Meanwhile, back at school, Sakura's rom-com radar convinces her that a new romance is about to bloom. Meanwhile, on their way to the park, Ryusei and Hanari speculate about what type of monster to expect. Hanari expects something like goblins, while Ryusei worries that monsters from their former world might be hard to handle here. However, Hanori boasts she could easily defeat a few goblins and playfully mocks Ryusei for losing his stamina after becoming a bum. Ryusei admits Hanori is right, since he's now nothing more than an ordinary human. Meanwhile, Mako and the others are disappointed after searching the entire park without finding anything unusual. Mana then asks if Ryusei and Hanori are dating, and Mako and Matsurika confidently insist they are, leaving Mana outraged. Moments later, the girls mistake a distant figure for Hanori, only to discover it is a giant monster. As Mako and Matsurika panic, Mana casts a magic circle to restrain the creature while Minto joins her to simultaneously defeat it. Hidden nearby, Ryusei and Hanori witness the battle, with Hanori excitedly providing commentary, unaware that the girls can hear every word. Soon after, Mana and Minto's cleanup crew arrives, leaving Hanori questioning their true identities. First, Mana reassures them that they sent Matsurika and Mako home after wiping their memory with magic. They then explain that the monster from earlier is an eater from another planet that consumes humans. Mana then reveals that they're from a secret organization called Oz that consists of mages who deal with abnormal situations. She also asks Ryusei to work with them as a collaborator because his position as a teacher will be very useful to them. Ryusei wonders why they chose him, but Mana tells him that it's just a gut feeling. And just like that, the hero and Demonlord joined a new party due to a gut feeling. Shortly after the brief meeting, Hanori and Ryusei are frustrated that they accomplished nothing but watching from the sidelines. Realizing they're no longer this world's main characters, Hanori decides to just waft through life without any purpose. She then asks Ryusei how much of his previous powers he has left, and Ryusei reveals that he has lost most of his demon powers, especially the powerful spells. Ryusei also wonders how Hanori plans to use her powers, but Hanori chooses to just lounge on the sidelines. Although Hanori has no desire to fight regularly, she says she still wants to protect the weak when she can. She then jokingly offers to protect Ryusei now that he's useless, but Ryusei rejects the offer, earning him a scolding from her. The next day, Hanori's class is split into groups for cooking, but she'd rather be a rich former hero than touch vegetables. Mako calls her a carnivore, but Hanori insists she's more of a squirrel since she prefers fruits and nuts. She especially hates tomatoes because they remind her of tomates, annoying little monsters from her former world that leave a mess in their wake. Mako then reveals that Hanori's greatest weakness is that she loses the will to live if she runs out of data. Every excuse Hanori makes gets instantly roasted, leaving her frustrated. Mako then urges Hanori to give her all in the cooking class to impress Ryusei, and Hanori instantly accepts the challenge. They soon begin to cook, and Mako commends Hanori for being good at it. She remarks that she thought Hanori was useless, but Hanori lets her know that Matsurika is the useless one who only knows how to eat. Meanwhile, in the faculty room, Ryusei can't stop thinking about Mana and Minto's magic, which he finds similar to ancient magic. He's still deep in thought when Hanori's voice snaps him back to reality. She hands him the lunch they made, asking him to give her feedback after tasting it. Shortly afterwards, the duo heads to the rooftop to eat, and Ryusei commends Hanori for the delicious food. As they eat, Hanori asks Ryusei what type of foods he hates. Ryusei says he hates green peppers because they remind him of hell peppers, which are annoying little monsters that attack in groups. Hanori then asks what he ate back when he was the Demonlord, and Ryusei reveals that he eats miasma. Hanori then tells him that as a hero she used to eat stale tough bread. Shortly after lunch, Hanori returns to give the girls Ryusei's feedback about their food. Later on, Hanori approaches Ryusei in high spirits, making him suspect she's up to no good. Ryusei is left stunned when she suddenly announces that there's a dungeon in this world. After school, the duo heads to the so-called dungeon, which is just an abandoned subway station. Hanori is excited about what they might encounter, but Ryusei warns her to stay alert, as they might run into an eater. However, after hours of searching, they find nothing, and even lose their way, leaving Hanori frustrated and regretful. They then decide to rest, and while making small talk, Ryusei wishes they had come with allies like Mana and Minto in case they run into a monster. At this point, Hanori is already bored out of her mind and plops to the ground with no care in the world. A few moments later, they continue searching for the exit while discussing the battle they witnessed the previous day. Hanori's delusional mind soon begins to spin imaginary scenarios that she's on a dungeon date with Ryusei. Seeing how panicked she looks, Ryusei suspects she must be overthinking again. A few minutes into the trek, Hanori suddenly gets melancholic and begins to question her very existence. Ryusei tells her that it's just teenage hormones, but Hanori insists it's much deeper than that. Before she can snap at him, Ryusei suddenly starts comforting her, praising her for being the coolest person in the world. Flustered by his words, Hanori's worries instantly melt away, making her yell at Ryusei for stirring up her emotions. Ryusei suddenly senses something and turns around while Hanori is still busy screaming. He then calls her attention to it, and she opens her eyes only to come face to face with a giant monster. Hanori immediately begins to panic while trying to convince herself that everything will be fine. Meanwhile, somewhere in the Oz Calamity Forecast Center, the mages have already located the giant monster, which is considered a Category 3 monster. The operator orders all mages to head to the subway station and set up a barrier at each exit to keep the monster contained. A calamity forecaster named Dorothy fears that Mana and Minto might not be able to handle the situation alone because Category 3 monsters are powerful. She then orders the operator to send in at least 5 more mages there, but from the monitor, they notice that 2 unknown figures are already fighting the monster, and they seem to be more powerful than it. At the same time, Ryusei and Hanori are getting thrashed by the monster. Infuriated, Hanori decides to get serious when she tries to take down the monster with a small rock, but the monster looks more offended than injured. Still, it is enough to enrage the monster, and as it chases after them, Hanori frantically begs Ryusei to do something. Ryusei then unleashes a dark flame on the monster, while Hanori fawns over him. Afterwards, he orders her to punch the monster hard to create an opening for him to finish it. Hanori immediately summons her hero armor, which she uses to deliver a devastating blow to the monster. While the monster is down, Ryusei unleashes a death stinger, piercing the monster from the inside out, which instantly ends it. However, Ryusei's advanced death magic makes Hanori uneasy, and she remains guarded against him because it reminds her that Ryusei is still the Demonlord. But the next moment, she folded faster than cheap lawn furniture when Ryusei praises her for being a cool hero. She starts throwing a tantrum, complaining that she just missed her chance to take down the weak Demonlord. The following day at school, Hanori spaces out throughout the day. When Mako asks her about it, Hanori is unable to say anything tangible. She even bolts away when Mako tries to ask her what she did yesterday after school. She then goes to see Ryusei, expecting him to say something about yesterday, but Ryusei feigns ignorance, leaving her frustrated. After school, Hanori angrily heads to their usual spot to confront Ryusei, only to find him and Minto with blood splattered all over. Thinking Ryusei has finally manifested his evil side, she charges in ready to deliver justice, only to learn that they were actually attacked by Tomoth monsters. As Hanori is helping Minto clean up, a shrill scream suddenly echoes nearby. Minto decides to check it out, while the others evacuate the school. Before she leaves, Ryusei tries to give her the X-Racket Burr, but Minto hits him with Premium U before fleeing. Ryusei is about to go handle the evacuation when Hanori suddenly stops him, asking if he thinks she should be the hero. Ryusei then advises her to just do whatever she feels is right, instead of pressuring herself. Meanwhile, Minto rushes over to where the scream came from, only to find Mana there crushing a couple of Tomoth monsters. On the other hand, Hanori wonders why monsters from their former world came here. She can't help but suspect that someone might be pulling the strings from behind the scenes. Hanori then rushes back to the classroom to make sure her friends are safe, but she finds Matsurika getting stuffed with a tomato monster. Soon afterward, they finish taking down the monsters, and Hanori tells Ryusei that she's going to clean up. As he watches her walk away, Ryusei quietly expresses his regret that Hanori is trapped in the past by his very existence. He apologizes for that, but admits that he's happy she's the hero. Hanori's legs suddenly give way as she crumbles to the ground, blushing severely. It turns out she heard everything he said from that distance, thanks to her super hearing. Outside the school, Hanori runs into Minto, who commends her for her bravery. Hanori proudly lets her know that she's actually a hero, but Minto refuses to buy into her fantasy delusions. Minto then reveals that Oz has been investigating the recent monster breakout, and they found out that it is related to a returning hero, called a Returner, who opened the gate to another world. Hanori is excited to hear this as she says it sounds pretty cool. Back at Oz headquarters, a mage named Ren finds Dorothy looking completely worn out. Curious, he asks what's draining her, and Dorothy reveals she's buried in paperwork over a reincarnated hero case. She also complains that her workload has doubled thanks to the organization's brilliant decision to send 2 completely unhinged witches to an all-girls school. Thanks for watching till the end. Don't forget to stay tuned for future episodes, and make sure to drop your favorite character in the comments section if you're hyped for the next episode.